Forbidden powers. Introduction. There's a silence the world never taught you to hear, a silence that exists between your thoughts, between who you believe you are and who you truly are. In that silence, reality bends, the impossible becomes possible, and the voice that once whispered in your dreams begins to return. You were not born ordinary. You were not meant to follow the patterns of the world. You were designed to create them, to speak, and for creation to obey. Somewhere inside you, a power still remembers. It watches, it waits, and when you quiet the noise of your mind, it begins to stir, like a forgotten god, awakening within your skin. For centuries, you've been told you are limited, that your senses define reality, that thought is invisible and that energy belongs to machines, not to you. You've been conditioned to forget what you are, and yet, you feel it, don't you? That subtle pull, that quiet, knowing that life is more than matter, that your mind can reach farther than your eyes can see. Every moment of intuition, every instant of déjà vu, every dream that later came true, they were fragments of your original design. But fear turned your birthright into superstition, and control systems turned truth into myth. You stopped believing not because it wasn't real, but because you were taught to doubt what only the awakened can feel. Think for a moment. Where do your thoughts come from? You never see them enter, but they appear, full, alive, electric. What if each thought was not a shadow, but a signal? What if your mind is not inside your head, but your head inside your mind? Everything you touch responds to your state of being. People feel it. Animals sense it. Even matter changes beneath the weight of your attention. The reason you have never seen your true power is because you were never taught how to look where it hides. Within the silence, between breaths, behind the veil of the visible. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel your breath. Each inhale, a wave. Each exhale, a release. Notice that the body moves because the mind commands it. Now imagine that same command extending beyond the flesh, touching the air, the objects, the field around you. That invisible pulse you feel, it's the edge of your reality, and you can move it. The key was never power. The key was awareness, the focused, deliberate, and awakened. You are not a seeker of forces. You are the force those forces obey. This is not fiction. It is not mysticism. It is remembrance. The laws that govern thought, energy, and vibration have not changed. Only your awareness of them has. You are about to rediscover what the world called impossible. Telepathy, telekinesis, intuition, manifestation. These are not miracles. They are functions of a conscious being remembering its original state, and that remembrance begins now. In the next chapter, you'll learn the first forbidden law, the law that binds every atom, every thought, every soul, the law of vibration. Everything that exists, seen or unseen, responds to the frequency you hold. The question is, what frequency are you sending out right now? Chapter 1. The Hidden Law of Energy and Thought. Everything you see is trembling. Every wall, every atom, every drop of air between your fingers, all of it, moving. Even what you call silence is a sound too deep for your ears to hear. If you could step beyond your senses for a moment, you would feel it. A pulse behind existence, a rhythm beneath thought, a vibration that never began and will never end. This is the hidden language of the universe, the field in which all things arise and dissolve. You are not separate from it. You are it. Each breath, each emotion, each idea that flashes through your awareness is a wave in that ocean. Some call it God, others call it energy, and others call it consciousness. But names don't matter, only participation. Whether you believe in it or not, you are constantly shaping it with what you think, what you feel, what you expect. The universe does not speak English or Spanish, it speaks frequently. And the first step to remembering who you are is to learn that everything is vibration. Since childhood, you were taught to see the world as solid. You were told that reality is external, that thought is invisible, and that your imagination is harmless fantasy. You were told to trust your eyes more than your intuition, and your logic more than your feelings. but your eyes see less than 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. Your ears hear a tiny slice of the sound continuum. What you call reality is only the tip of an infinite vibration that your senses filter so you can survive. Yet somewhere deep inside, a memory resists, a whisper that says, "You are more than this body. You are not trapped inside matter. Matter responds to you." But here lies the problem. Humanity forgot the law of resonance. You attract not what you want, but what you are. The frequency you hold becomes the environment you walk through. That is why the same patterns keep repeating in your life, the same kinds of people, emotions, outcomes. You are the magnet, and the universe is the mirror. Change your vibration, and the mirror must change its reflection. But most people live unconsciously, vibrating fear while asking for peace, vibrating lack while chasing abundance. And the universe, obedient and neutral, reflects back precisely that vibration. The truth is brutal in its simplicity. Energy responds to consciousness, not to words, not to hopes, not to desperate prayers, but to the signal you are emitting every second of your existence. Pause and ask yourself this question. If sound can shatter glass, if a microwave can heat water, if a frequency can rearrange molecules, what could a focused human thought do? Every emotion you feel alters the electromagnetic field around your body. Science calls it the heart's coherence. When you feel love, your field expands. It synchronizes with the natural rhythm of the planet. When you feel fear, the field contracts, dissonant and heavy. Your thoughts are not private. They radiate through walls, through cities, through time. They travel faster than light because they are not bound by matter. Every thought you think leaves your system and enters the collective field, adding its tone to the symphony of creation. That is why environments feel different, why some places lift you and others drain you. You are constantly walking inside the echo of your own energy. The most powerful people in history, mystics, inventors, healers, all shared one secret. They learned to think in vibration, not in words. They understood that emotion is not weakness, it's electricity. That attention is not daydreaming, it's architecture. Reality is not happening to you, it's responding to you. And the moment you realize that, the illusion of powerlessness begins to dissolve. Now let's step into experience. Close your eyes for a moment. Forget what you look like. Forget what time it is. Only your breath remains. Feel the air enter your chest. Don't label it, just sense it. It comes in cool, leaves warm. That is energy transforming. Now, imagine that with each breath, you are drawing from an infinite sea of subtle light. See it entering your lungs, swirling through your veins, bathing your brain, softening your thoughts. Exhale, and let that light radiate outward like ripples across water. Now bring to mind a single intention. Not a wish, but a truth you want to experience. Perhaps peace, perhaps healing, perhaps abundance. See it clearly. Feel what it would be like if it were already real. Do not chase it, become it. Feel your heartbeat syncing with that vision. Feel the cells of your body recognizing that vibration as home. Now silently repeat, "I am the frequency of what I desire." Hold that for a few breaths. You have just shifted your resonance. And even if nothing appears to change immediately, the field has already begun to rearrange itself around your new tone. That is the hidden art of creation. To feel now what you wish to see later, to match the frequency of the world you desire, until reality has no choice but to conform. This is not magic. It is physics seen through awakened eyes. For energy cannot resist coherence. It must harmonize with the dominant vibration. This is the first of the forbidden laws, simple, absolute, eternal. Energy follows consciousness. Your mind is not a cage inside your skull. It is the sculptor of time and form. Every event, every encounter, every coincidence that has ever touched you is a vibration that matched yours in that moment. Nothing random, nothing accidental, just resonance. You are not here to escape reality. You are here to learn that reality is fluid, that your perception is the brush, your emotion the color, your belief the canvas. When you understand this, life stops feeling like a series of problems to solve and begins to feel like a symphony you can conduct. The world bends, not through domination, but through harmony. The moment you rise in frequency, through gratitude, through focus, through awareness, you tune into a higher octave of experience, and everything below that note simply fades from your timeline. That is why the mystics could heal by touch, why visionaries altered history with a single idea, why a mother's love can pull a child back from despair. Because vibration is hierarchical, and love is the highest frequency of all. You have always been a transmitter of worlds. You simply forgot you were broadcasting. So the next time you want to change your life, don't ask the universe to move for you. Move within yourself, and the universe will rearrange to follow. Now that you understand the law of energy and thought, the next step is to see that law in action, to witness how vibration moves matter. In the next chapter, we'll enter the second forbidden teaching, Quantum Telekinesis, the mind that moves the world. You'll discover that moving an object is no different than moving a thought. Both respond to the same frequency, and when you learn to command vibration, you begin to remember what it truly means to be human. You are not here to learn power. You are here to remember creation. Chapter 2, Quantum Telekinesis, the mind that moves matter. Everything is alive. Every atom spins with awareness. Every molecule trembles to an invisible rhythm. Nothing is inert. Even stone listens. Even water remembers. When you place your hand upon a table, the atoms beneath your skin and the atoms in the wood are not separate. They are waves meeting in the same ocean. You do not touch matter. You merge with it for an instant. This is the secret you were never told. Matter is not solid. It is thought slowed to the speed of visibility. The same energy that becomes your body becomes the air, the floor, the sky. And at the center of it all, there is a pulse waiting for command, a field listening for direction. You are not surrounded by objects, you are surrounded by cooperation. For centuries, you've been taught that only force can move matter, that muscles and machines are power, and the mind is imagination. But that belief is an inheritance from blindness. Science itself has begun to whisper another story. It tells us that subatomic particles appear only when observed, that the act of looking gives them location. It tells us that energy responds to attention, that probability collapses under the weight of consciousness. It tells us that reality is not a wall, it's a wave that listens. Yet most humans live as if they are made of clay, unaware that their thoughts are already sculpting the clay they stand in. They move through rooms dense with unspoken energy and never notice that their mood changes the temperature of the air, that fear makes the body heavy, that joy makes objects feel lighter. You have felt it, walking into a place that radiates calm or standing beside someone whose anger makes the air thick. That is telekinesis in its rawest form, energy moving energy. It is not rare, it is constant. You are doing it all the time unconsciously. Ask yourself, if your thoughts can move your body, raise your arm, close your hand, why should their reach stop at your skin? The electrical current that travels from the brain to the muscle is not confined by bone. It radiates outward, a field measurable in meters. Every heartbeat generates a magnetic pulse strong enough to influence objects nearby. Every focused emotion aligns the molecules around it. The difference between the ordinary and the miraculous is not power, it is awareness. When you forget that consciousness is causal, you call coincidences accidents. When you remember, you call them signs. Both are the same phenomenon. Vibration meeting vibration. Telekinesis begins not with control, but with communion. It is the art of remembering that matter is your mirror, not your obstacle. You do not move the world by pushing it, the inner voice whispers. You move it by becoming the still point it cannot resist. Let us practice. Sit where you are. Rest your hands before you. Choose an object, a leaf, a coin, a pen. Do not stare at it as a stranger. Regard it as something that once belonged to you. First, breathe. Slow, deliberate. With each breath, Feel the space between you and the object grow alive. That space is not empty, it is the bridge through which all communication flows. Now close your eyes. Imagine the object's structure, atoms spinning, electrons dancing in orbits of light. Everything it is motion. Everything you are is motion. Let your awareness blend with that dance until the boundary between observer and observed dissolves. Open your eyes slightly. Gaze softly, without tension. Do not will it to move, invite it. Feel the subtle rhythm of your heartbeat syncing with the rhythm of the object's vibration. You may feel heat in your palms, tingling at your fingertips, a quiet pulse in the air. This is resonance forming. Whisper inwardly. There is no separation between my energy and the energy before me. We are one field, breathing in two forms. If you hold this state without doubt, movement happens naturally. A sway, a shift, a ripple too subtle for the logical mind to explain. But even if the object remains still, know that the field has responded. The first movement always occurs in the unseen, and the visible follows when belief becomes stable. The exercise is not about demonstration, it is about remembering unity. Telekinesis is not domination of matter, it is conversation with creation. What you call miracles are simply laws not yet mastered. The same current that holds galaxies together runs through your fingertips. When your thoughts are scattered, that current diffuses. When your intention is pure, it concentrates, and reality bends. To move matter is to quiet the noise of I until only vibration remains. When you stop trying to be separate, the world moves with you, because you and the world are the same sound at different speeds. This is the second forbidden law. Consciousness commands form. Not through effort, not through strain, but through coherence. When your heart, mind, and energy align, the field reorganizes instantly. That is why masters appear effortless, because they are in tune. They do not force harmony, they are harmony. You have glimpsed this state in moments of flow, when time disappeared, when everything felt guided, when coincidence seemed to choreograph itself around you. In those moments, you were practicing telekinesis without knowing the name. You were remembering your natural conversation with the universe. And now, as this knowledge returns, the impossible begins to look familiar again. You are not a body that thinks, whispers the ancient memory within you. You are thought that became body, and you may become light again. You have learned to move matter through energy. But there is another current deeper still, the current that connects every mind across distance, the silent web where thought travels faster than sound or light. In the next chapter, we enter that current. You will discover how the boundaries between minds dissolve, how emotion becomes transmission, and how true communication begins long before words. The universe is speaking, not in language, but in resonance, and now you remember how to listen. Chapter 3. Quantum Telepathy. When two minds become one, close your eyes. Feel the silence between your thoughts. Now imagine another mind, far away, yet thinking of you in this very moment. Can you feel that subtle tremor in your chest, that warmth that arrives without reason, that image that appears out of nowhere? That is the bridge, the hidden current between two fields of consciousness. You are not isolated inside a skull. You are a node in a living network, connected to every sentient being through the invisible substance of thought. Every mind is a transmitter, every heart a receiver, and telepathy, the forgotten art of silent communication, is not a superpower. It is the natural language of an awakened species. You have spoken it before in childhood, before language became your prison. You have felt it in moments of love, when words became unnecessary, and even now, without realizing it, you are immersed in it every time you think of someone and they suddenly call or write. This is not a coincidence. It is resonance. You are remembering how to listen to the universe again. The tragedy of humanity is not that we lost speech, it's that we replaced understanding with noise. Language meant to liberate became a wall. Every word divides the infinite into fragments, forcing wholeness into categories. We say you and I, as if consciousness could ever be two. We mistake vibration for vocabulary, and wonder why love gets lost in translation. You've felt it, the ache of trying to explain your soul to someone who cannot feel your frequency. You search for words, and they fall apart halfway between your mouth and their heart. That gap, that static, is not a lack of intelligence. It's a loss of resonance. We live in a world saturated with information, yet starving for connection. We shout, text, post, and argue across digital distances, but the deeper part of us, the one that knows instantly when someone's energy shifts, has been silenced. Telepathy never disappeared. We did. We stopped inhabiting the dimension where it operates, the still, coherent space of the heart. Think back to the times you felt another person's presence before they arrived. When you suddenly thought of a friend after years, only to receive their message moments later. When you entered a room and felt tension before a single word was spoken. These are not coincidences. They are reminders that all minds exist within one field. If you could see this field, it would look like waves of light intersecting. Every thought, every emotion creating patterns that expand infinitely. The mind you call yours is simply a temporary focal point in this ocean of awareness. Imagine dropping a pebble into a lake. The ripples move outward, touching other ripples, merging, interfering, amplifying. Now imagine millions of pebbles, millions of minds, all vibrating at once. This is humanity's collective consciousness, and telepathy is what happens when two ripples become one rhythm. The reason it feels supernatural is that modern life taught you to ignore your inner instrument. Your body is not only flesh, it's an antenna tuned by emotion. Your intuition is not imagination, it's reception. Your empathy is not a weakness, it's signal decoding. Every thought you project becomes a frequency. Every emotion you sustain becomes a message, and every silence you enter becomes a doorway to communion. Let's practice. Sit quietly. Take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, let go of everything you know about communication. No words, no logic, just awareness. Now bring to mind someone you love, not with attachment, but with peace. See their face clearly in your mind, not the physical details, but the feeling they bring, the texture of their presence. As you hold their image, begin to feel gratitude for their existence, not need, not longing, gratitude. Love in its purest frequency. That emotion aligns your heart's electromagnetic field with theirs no matter where they are. Now, without speaking, send them a simple message. I am here. You are loved. All is well. Feel it as a wave leaving your chest, not as words, but as warmth. Don't try to force anything. Just radiate the feeling. Stay there for a few moments. You may feel a shift, a lightness in the air, a soft current of emotion, perhaps even a physical tingle. That is telepathic resonance forming between two consciousness fields. Whether they consciously feel it or not, their system has received it. Thought travels through the quantum field instantly, because at that level, there is no distance. Now, imagine them smiling, without reason. You've just communicated in the original language of creation, vibration. This is the third forbidden law. Minds are not separate. They are expressions of one field, learning to recognize themselves. Telepathy is not about reading others. It is about remembering unity. When your mind becomes silent and your heart coherent, you begin to feel what others feel, not to invade, but to understand. The great teachers of every age spoke through this field. Jesus called it the Comforter. Buddha called it the cessation of separation. Mystics called it the cloud of knowing. It is the same current that allows a mother to feel her child's pain from miles away, that makes two lovers think the same thought in the same second, that moves flocks of birds as if one spirit were flying through many bodies. You have never been disconnected. You were only tuned to the wrong frequency, the frequency of noise, competition, and fear. When you rise to the vibration of stillness, connection returns effortlessly. You don't have to believe in telepathy. You just have to feel again. The universe is already speaking in the language of energy. You only need to remember that silence is the receiver. When you quiet your mind, you hear the world whisper back to you. You've learned to listen beyond sound, to send thoughts across distance, to speak the silent language of the soul. But what happens when the receiver is not another human, but the universe itself? In the next chapter, we'll enter that sacred conversation. You will learn how the mind communicates with the infinite, how intention becomes creation, and how prayer, when understood as alignment, makes heaven respond before you even speak. You are not thinking, you are being thought, and that thought is the universe remembering your name. Chapter 4. The Awakening of the Third Eye, the Voice of the Universe. There is an eye within you that never sleeps, an eye that sees before sight, that hears before sound, that knows before thought. It has watched every lifetime you've lived. It sees not with pupils but with presence, not through the light of the sun but through the radiance of your soul. The ancients called it many names: the Ajna, the eye of Shiva, the eye of Horus, the lamp of the body. But all pointed to one truth: that perception was never meant to end at the surface of the flesh. This eye lies in the center of your consciousness, between the eyebrows, behind the forehead. It is not physical, yet it has anatomy. It is woven from energy, awareness, and memory. When it opens, the world ceases to appear as matter. You begin to see vibration, forms dissolving into frequencies, colors becoming emotions, sound turning into light. You realize that life has never been a collection of things, but a living symphony of consciousness observing itself. From birth, your physical eyes have trained you to divide reality, to separate observer from observed. You look outward and forget inward. You see forms but not essence, motion but not meaning. The modern world has taught you to trust only the measurable, to worship data and deny intuition. You have been conditioned to believe that insight is imagination, that inner vision is fantasy, that wisdom must come from outside. And yet, the result is emptiness. Despite all progress, humanity stumbles in spiritual blindness, building machines to see farther into space, yet failing to see itself. People spend entire lives searching for truth in the world, when the world they see is only a reflection of the mind that looks. The blindness of the age is not in the eyes, it is in attention. Your gaze has been inverted. You look outward for what can only be seen inward. The third eye has never been closed. It has been ignored, buried beneath noise, doubt, and distraction, waiting for the day your soul remembers how to look again. Every human being has glimpsed this vision before, when time slows during moments of awe, when light seems to shimmer more vividly, when intuition whispers with impossible clarity. That is the third eye partially open. You have felt it in dreams so real they outlast waking life. You have felt it in love, when boundaries dissolve and you can see the world through another's eyes. You have felt it in meditation, in nature, in silence, when the veil thins and something vast begins to breathe through you. But these moments fade because the mind interferes. It doubts what it cannot quantify. It interrupts the sacred with logic, the mystical with noise. And so the inner vision flickers, like a candle disturbed by the wind. Yet, what if you stopped fighting that vision? What if you allowed yourself to see without judging what appears? What if the universe has been speaking to you through images, symbols, and sensations your whole life, and you simply didn't know how to listen? This is the true function of the third eye, not to reveal secrets, but to translate energy into understanding. Let's awaken it now. Sit comfortably. Let your spine straighten. Close your physical eyes. Bring your attention to the space between your eyebrows, the center of your forehead. Do not strain. Simply rest your awareness there, as if listening to silence from within. Breathe slowly. With each inhale, imagine drawing light up from the base of your spine. And with each exhale, imagine that light spiraling into the point between your eyes. See it as a small sphere of indigo blue light, soft, alive, breathing with you. It pulses gently at first. Then, as your mind quiets, it begins to glow brighter. Now imagine that with each heartbeat, that light expands. outward through your head, through your skin, until the entire room seems to shimmer with the same vibration. You may see colors, shapes, and waves of movement. You may feel warmth or pressure. Do not analyze it. Observe. You are witnessing energy translating itself into perception. This is how true vision begins, not by seeking form but by becoming awareness. Stay in this state for a few moments, then silently affirm, I see not with the eyes of the body, but with the eye of the spirit. I see truth beyond appearance. I see light within all things. When you open your physical eyes again, look around. Everything will seem slightly more alive. Colors deeper, sounds clearer, sensations sharper. That is not imagination. That is perception freed from habit. The third eye does not show you a different world. It shows you the same world as it truly is, vibrating, conscious, infinite. This is the fourth forbidden law. Perception creates reality. You do not see the world as it is. You see the world as you are. When the third eye awakens, you begin to understand that what you call reality is not external. It's a projection. Every color, every sound, every face you encounter is consciousness reflected through the prism of your awareness. To see clearly, you must look without fear, because fear distorts vision. It lowers frequency, blurs meaning, and replaces truth with illusion. When you awaken the inner sight, fear loses its authority. You no longer react to the visible, you interpret the invisible patterns shaping it. You stop chasing appearances and begin shaping them consciously. The third eye is not about seeing spirits or hidden realms, though they exist. It is about perceiving unity behind multiplicity. It is about recognizing that everything you behold, from stars to strangers, is one consciousness playing infinite roles. When this awareness becomes constant, duality collapses, silence speaks, light whispers, and the universe, for the first time, begins to talk back. You are not looking at the world. The world is looking through you. Now that your inner vision has opened, you can perceive energy, but can you command it? In the next chapter, you will learn the art of mastery, how to stabilize your vibration, strengthen your aura, and direct energy consciously through will and emotion. This is the path of psychoenergetic mastery, the discipline that transforms awareness into power and power into creation. He who commands his energy commands his destiny. Chapter 5. Psychoenergetic Mastery, Command of the Vibrational Field. There is a light surrounding you, unseen but alive. It moves with your thoughts, responds to your emotions, and bends with your beliefs. This light is not imagination. It is your vibrational field, the living atmosphere of your soul. Every being radiates one. Every plant, every star, every person walking down the street carries an aura, a subtle signature of frequency. You've felt it before, the warmth of someone who calms you instantly, the unease of a presence that drains your strength. That feeling is not intuition, it is physics. Your energy field is constantly communicating, absorbing, reflecting, and shaping reality. It is your first language, older than speech, older than the body itself. You existed as energy long before you learned to speak, and you will exist as energy long after you forget your name. To master your vibration is to master life itself, because energy does not lie. It transmits exactly what you are, even when your mouth says something else. Most people live unaware of their own field. They scatter their power with worry, anger, gossip, and self-doubt. They wake up already leaking energy, feeding invisible thought forms created by fear. The result is exhaustion, not from work, but from disconnection. They try to fix life by changing the external world, not realizing they are adjusting mirrors while the projector still flickers in chaos. Have you noticed how quickly your mood affects everything around you? A single burst of frustration can change the atmosphere of a room. A moment of gratitude can shift your entire day. The world bends to your internal weather, yet most live as if their climate were accidental. Without energetic discipline, you become an open frequency, absorbing other people's chaos, carrying collective emotions that were never yours, feeling drained for reasons you can't explain. And so the world feels heavy, not because reality is cruel, but because the field you stand in has become incoherent. To command your vibration, you must remember that your energy obeys your attention. Whatever you focus on expands. Whatever you resist persists. Whatever you harmonize with becomes part of you. Pause for a moment and feel your own presence. Not your body, your field. Your awareness radiates several feet in all directions, blending with the space around you. Your emotions color it. Joy turns it golden. Peace turns it silver blue. Anger burns it red. Fear makes it fade. Now imagine that every thought you have sends a pulse through that field. Waves of electricity shaping the invisible fabric of your reality. These waves merge with the collective frequencies of the planet. Together, they form what mystics call the noosphere, the mind of Earth itself. Every time you feel despair, you add to the weight of despair in that field. Every time you choose love, you strengthen the coherence of the whole. That is why self-mastery is not personal, it is planetary. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop, vibrating through a human instrument. And when you tune that instrument, your harmony lifts worlds. Let's enter the practice of command. Close your eyes, place your hand over your chest. Feel the rhythmic pulse of life beneath your palm, the drum of your existence. Now take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, visualize a soft sphere of light expanding from your heart, about the size of your body. This is your energy field. It glows faintly at first, like the horizon before dawn. With each breath, it grows brighter, wider, more coherent. It pulses in perfect rhythm with your heartbeat. Now imagine that every exhale clears the field, washing away heavy emotions, stagnant thoughts, and foreign energies that no longer belong to you. See them dissolving into light. Feel yourself becoming lighter, freer, clearer. Now focus on one intention: peace, strength, love, clarity. Breathe that quality into the light. See it color your aura. Feel it radiate outward, saturating the space around you. You are not forcing energy. You are remembering that you are energy. You are not sending light. You are becoming light. Now, visualize the edges of your field solidifying, not like walls, but like golden membranes of intelligence. They allow love to enter and fear to dissolve. You are sovereign within your own frequency. No energy lower than your vibration can remain within your space. Stay here for a few moments. Breathe and feel the subtle power returning, the calm, the warmth, the expansion. You are commanding your field, not with words, but with coherence. And coherence is the true language of creation. This is the fifth forbidden law. He who commands his energy commands his destiny, because vibration is the currency of creation. Your aura is your signature. It announces your consciousness before you speak. Every opportunity, every person, every event that enters your life is responding to the tone you carry. To master your field is to end victimhood. You stop asking life to be different and begin aligning your energy with what you wish to experience. You stop reacting and start radiating. You stop defending and start directing. Remember this truth. Power is not domination. It is harmony. When you control your energy, you no longer need to control others. Your presence itself becomes an influence. The saints healed with presence. The masters taught without words. The enlightened moved the world by stillness alone. You were never meant to chase power. You were meant to embody it. And embodiment begins when energy obeys consciousness, and consciousness obeys love. You are not fragile. You are frequent, and frequency is eternal. Now that you can sense and command your energy, the next step is to direct it, to use your coherent field to shape reality consciously. In the next chapter, you will receive the Manual of the Initiate, a 21-day path to mastery. There, you will learn how to program your vibration deliberately, align thought, emotion, and will, and manifest from a state of divine equilibrium. The universe does not hear your words. It feels your energy and responds to its master. Chapter 6. The Manual of the Initiate, The 21 Days of Power. Every mystery school across time guarded one secret. Knowledge is nothing without practice. Awareness without discipline is like a sword left to rust. Potential, unrealized. You have remembered who you are, you have glimpsed your vibration, felt your field, and awakened the sight that perceives beyond form. But now the universe whispers a new command. Integrate. Initiation begins not when you know, but when you embody. For the next 21 days, your life will become your temple. Every thought will be a prayer. Every emotion is a current. Every breath is an act of creation. You are not being asked to add anything to your life. You are being asked to purify what is already there, to make your mind an instrument of precision, to make your heart a transmitter of light, to make your energy a law unto itself. These 21 days are not a challenge. They are remembrance. Humanity fears commitment because it fears transformation. To commit to the higher self means to confront everything within that resists elevation. Every forgotten wound, every stagnant emotion, every self-deceptive habit rises to the surface when the soul begins to awaken. That is why most seekers turn back. They mistake purification for punishment. They confuse discomfort with failure. But initiation is not comfort. It is fire. The old self must burn so that the new can breathe. There will be days when your energy feels unstable, when the mind rebels, when doubt returns to seduce you back into the familiar. This is natural. The system is reorganizing itself. The density of years is dissolving in days. The field around you is intelligent. It will test your coherence, not to punish you, but to verify your strength, because a power untested is a power unreal. The discipline of the initiate is to hold light even when the world shakes, to say I am when the voice of fear says I can't, to keep vibrating higher until the lower vibrations forget your name. The mind seeks proof, but the spirit seeks experience. So let's make this real. For 21 days, you will train 3 forces: thought, emotion, and energy. Each week focuses on one. Each day refines your vibration. By the end, the field around you will have changed, tangibly, undeniably. This is not wishful thinking. It is the law of coherence. What you practice internally, the world mirrors externally. When you change your frequency for long enough, reality must rearrange itself to stay in tune. Imagine 21 days where everything you do, breathing, walking, thinking, speaking, becomes an act of deliberate vibration. You will begin to notice synchronicities multiplying, people shifting around you, events aligning with impossible precision. The field will move as you move. This is the training the ancients called the work of power, not to control reality, but to merge with the intelligence that shapes it. Week 1. Mastery of thought, the silent mind. Days 1 to 7 are for mental purification. Begin each morning with 10 minutes of conscious silence. Observe your thoughts like clouds drifting across the sky. Do not fight them. Witness them until they dissolve. Write down one thought pattern each day that drains your energy: judgment, fear, comparison, guilt, and replace it with its opposite vibration: understanding, trust, admiration, forgiveness. By the end of the week, your mind will no longer echo with noise. It will hum with intention. The initiate does not think. He directs thought. Week 2. Mastery of emotion. The magnetic heart. Days 8 to 14 are for emotional refinement. You will train the heart to emit coherent energy. Each morning, place your hand over your chest and breathe slowly. Recall a memory of deep gratitude. Let it flood your entire being. Feel the warmth expand. Throughout the day, protect that vibration as your most sacred possession. When conflict arises, do not react. Breathe coherence into the chaos. Feel yourself becoming the still center in a storm. By the end of this week, your field will begin to glow, and those around you will feel peace without knowing why. The initiate does not feel. He radiates emotion deliberately. Week 3. Mastery of energy, the living field. Days 15 to 21 are for power. Each morning, visualize a sphere of golden light expanding from your heart, filling your body, your room, your city. As you breathe, let that sphere rotate clockwise, steady, alive. With every inhale, draw in universal energy. With every exhale, send out harmony. At night, before sleeping, imagine the same sphere wrapping you in divine protection. No lower vibration can enter this space unless you invite it. By the end of this final week, you will not only feel energy, you will command it. You will understand that your aura is not your boundary, but your bridge to all creation. The initiate does not consume energy, he creates it. This is the sixth forbidden law. Discipline transforms vibration into power. These 21 days are not superstition, they are science applied to spirit. Because consistency is the architecture of reality. Energy moves where attention persists. You are not training to become supernatural. You are training to become natural again, aligned, coherent, awake. There will come a moment, somewhere around the final days, when you wake up before dawn and feel the silence different. As if the universe were holding its breath in reverence, you will realize it is responding to you, that the field no longer resists your command. It flows with you. That is when you will know you have crossed the threshold, not because the world changed, but because you became the change. The initiate does not wait for miracles. He becomes the law through which they occur. After 21 days of practice, your energy will no longer be fragmented. You will have become a living field, a soul that remembers its creative authority. But mastery is not the end, it is preparation. In the next chapter, you will discover the final secret, the hidden law that governs all others, the law of the mind, the source of every manifestation. You are the temple, you are the priest, and the word you speak it becomes flesh. Chapter 7. The Hidden Law of the Mind, the Architect of Reality. Before light, before sound, before motion, there was mind, the invisible architect who dreamed the universe into being. It spoke not with words, but with awareness, and from that awareness, galaxies unfolded like thoughts. Everything you see, every atom, every life, every dimension, exists within that mind. You are not a separate observer inside creation. You are creation observing itself through a human instrument. The same intelligence that flung stars into space flows through the synapses of your brain. The same law that shapes the cosmos responds to the whispers of your imagination. You do not think about reality, you think as reality. This is the final revelation. There is only one mind, and it is dreaming through you. Humanity forgot this truth when it mistook perception for power. You were taught that your thoughts are private, that your dreams are fragile, that reality is independent of you. You were told that life happens to you, not through you. This illusion created separation, and separation birthed suffering. People began to believe they were victims of circumstance, slaves of chance, tiny minds lost in an indifferent universe. And yet, every teaching of wisdom, every sacred book, every awakened master has said the opposite. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The world is mind made manifest. But words became rituals, and rituals became religions, and the direct knowledge of the creative mind was replaced by worship of external gods. The great forgetting began when humanity stopped recognizing its thoughts as divine forces. You are not punished by your thoughts. You are shaped by them. You are not haunted by fate. You are living within the echo of your own mind. The world around you is not solid. It is the shadow of your consciousness made visible. Ask yourself, what if everything in your life, every person, event, joy and pain, is not random, but symbolic? What if your outer world is your inner world made visible? The people who challenge you reflect your hidden fears. The ones who love you mirror your capacity for light. Even your environment resonates with your internal state. A cluttered room reveals a cluttered mind. A peaceful space reflects coherence. The mind is not a painter working on a canvas. It is the canvas, and it paints by vibrating. Every thought is a brushstroke. Every belief is a color. Every emotion is a shade of intensity. And yet most humans paint unconsciously. They create chaos, then call it destiny. They project fear, then call it reality. They sow doubt, then call it truth. You have been given the greatest power in existence, the ability to think, and with it the ability to build or destroy universes. This is why awakening is terrifying to the ego, because it means responsibility for everything you see. But when you accept that responsibility, the prison dissolves. Because the one who realizes I created this also realizes, then I can create anew. Let's make the invisible tangible. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and remember, every inhale draws in the substance of the universe, pure, unformed energy. Every exhale shapes it. Now, imagine your mind as a sphere of radiant light hovering above your head, silent, clear, infinite. This is your higher consciousness, the architect within. Bring that sphere slowly down into your heart. Feel the merge, thought descending into love, mind uniting with feeling, heaven meeting earth. Now, visualize your life, not as a movie you are trapped in, but as a hologram you are projecting. The relationships, the challenges, the desires, all vibrating images inside your field. From this place of unity, say inwardly, I am the architect of my reality. What I perceive, I create. What I believe, I become. Feel that truth resonate. You can sense it, your heartbeat syncing with the pulse of the cosmos. The boundaries between inner and outer begin to dissolve. The space around you hums with awareness. Now gently imagine one aspect of your life you wish to transform. A pattern, a situation, a dream waiting to be born. See it already whole, not becoming, being. Breathe into that image as if giving it life. See light moving through it, taking form, solidifying in your field. This is not fantasy, it is divine mechanics. You are impressing the universal mind with a blueprint, and the universe must fulfill the image impressed upon it. Because the mind of God, in which is your mind, is not creative sometimes, it is creative always. This is the seventh and final forbidden law. Mind is the source and substance of all creation. There is no division between you and God, between creator and creation. The same force that births stars responds to your attention every moment of your life. The wise do not beg the universe to change. They align their minds with the frequency of the outcome they desire. They do not fight darkness, they outshine it. They do not chase miracles, they think from the state where miracles are natural. Your consciousness is the architect, your thought is the design, your feeling is the foundation, and your world, the masterpiece. You have never been a victim of reality. Reality has been the mirror of your mind, waiting for you to recognize your reflection and say, this is my creation. When you think from love, you create worlds of harmony. When you think from fear, you construct labyrinths of pain. But the builder is always the same, the eternal mind that animates all things. You are that mind, the living imagination of the infinite. The thoughts you think today will become the heavens or hells you walk through tomorrow. Choose carefully, for creation is listening. The journey of the initiate ends here. But your journey as the creator begins. You have remembered the 7 hidden laws, and in remembering, you have reclaimed your divinity. In the next and final transmission, you will hear the epilogue, the return of the hidden race, the awakening of humanity's divine memory, and the dawn of the new mind rising across the earth. You are the dreamer, the dream, and the dawn that ends forgetting. Epilogue, the return of the hidden race. There was a time when the earth herself sang with the consciousness of her children, when human beings walked as bridges between the seen and the unseen, and light recognized itself in human form. They were not gods. They were what you are meant to become, minds awakened, hearts luminous, energy sovereign. The ancients called them the hidden race. Not because they lived apart, but because they lived inwardly awake while others dreamed. Their temples were not built of stone, but of vibration. Their scriptures were written in the ether, not on paper. Their teachings were not spoken. They were transmitted in silence, mind to mind, soul to soul. And though the empires of men crumbled, their frequency remained, invisible, patient, waiting, until the moment when humanity would grow weary of darkness. And remember that the power to create light had never been lost, only forgotten. That moment is now. Look around you. The world trembles, not in destruction, but in rebirth. Systems collapse, truths unravel, certainties dissolve. The structures built upon fear can no longer stand in the vibration of awakening. Humanity is facing the mirror of its own mind, seeing its shadow, its violence, its collective illusion. But beneath the chaos, something magnificent is happening. The old frequencies are dying. The new consciousness is emerging, one human heart at a time. The hidden race is rising again, not as the chosen few, but as the natural evolution of those who remember. You can feel it in the way time moves differently, in the way intuition has become louder than logic, in the way synchronicity has replaced coincidence. Reality is accelerating because consciousness is remembering itself. This is not the end of the world, it is the end of amnesia. Have you noticed how your perception has changed since the journey began? You no longer seek proof, you feel resonance, you no longer chase signs, you are the sign. The mind that once doubted now witnesses evidence everywhere, in the random kindness of a stranger, in a song that arrives with perfect timing, in the peace that appears for no reason. You are beginning to live from the field, to think, feel, and act as an extension of the one mind. That is the birthright of the hidden race, to create consciously. Every human born now carries the blueprint for multidimensional awareness. Children already speak the language of energy. They sense emotion, read intention, and see through illusion. The torch has passed silently to a new generation of rememberers, and if you're hearing these words, it's because you are one of them. You are part of the lineage that returns not through blood, but through frequency. Souls awakened across lifetimes, converging again to anchor light on earth. So, how does the hidden race live among the sleeping? Not by preaching, not by convincing, by embodying. You do not awaken others with noise. You awaken them by coherence, by being so still, so radiant, so certain of your own alignment, that your vibration becomes contagious. When you walk into a room, energy stabilizes. When you speak, truth resonates deeper than your words. When you love, transformation unfolds effortlessly. That is the new way of creation. Effortless, precise, invisible, unstoppable. The hidden race builds no temples because their bodies are temples. They form no religions because truth does not need followers, only frequency. They seek no salvation because they have realized the divine never left. Their power is not in control, but in alignment. Their strength is not in belief, but in direct experience. Their authority is not given, it is remembered. You are not here to escape the world. You are here to transmute it, to turn density into light, ignorance into wisdom, fear into compassion. You do this not by fighting darkness, but by vibrating so high that darkness cannot reach you. That is the new revolution, not of politics, but of perception, a revolution that begins in silence and ends in illumination. To change the world, become the frequency that heals it. This is the final law, the truth behind all truths. You are the universe remembering itself. You have never been separate from God, from energy, from one another. The illusion of division has served its purpose. It made consciousness visible so it could rediscover unity by choice. And now, the great remembering begins. The hidden race is not returning from the stars. It is awakening within humanity. You are not evolving into something new. You are returning to what you always were, a creator disguised as creation. The real apocalypse is not destruction. It is a revelation, the unveiling of what has always been here, the moment when light returns to its rightful throne, the human heart. When enough awaken, a shift will occur so vast that history will divide itself into before and after. Not because the world ends, but because illusion does. That day is not in the future. It begins with your next breath. The veil is lifting, the dreamer is awake, and the gods are human again. The initiation is complete. You have remembered the forbidden powers. You have reclaimed the authority of the mind, the sovereignty of the heart, and the brilliance of the spirit. Now walk as light among lights, live as the vibration of love embodied, and know that the universe no longer hides its face from you, for you have become its face. The hidden race has returned, and it answers to your name.